Good morning students. Today we are going to discuss about chapter number 2 Civics Understanding Secularism. Before we get into what it's all about, I want you to understand the objective of the chapter. The objective of the chapter Understanding Secularism is to develop our understanding of the rule of law and our involvement with the law. To understand law as an evolving and subject to change. Understanding the vision and values of the Constitution. Develop an appreciation of human rights guaranteed in the Constitution. Appreciate our continuous involvement with the Constitution as living document. Understand the Constitution as primary source of all our laws. Basically, this means to say that secularism is something which is a method adopted by our country, which is duly prescribed in our Constitution. Constitution is a living document and source of each and every law which we abide and follow. Now, the more important thing to understand here is that what is secularism here. In history, there are various instances of discrimination, exclusion, persecution, and torture on the grounds of religion. And in a civilized world, no one wishes for such discrimination based on the religion. Hence, Indian Constitution speaks about the value like secularism. You all know what is discrimination is about. Discrimination on the basis of certain thing, like it can be on the basis of race, color, gender, sex, and in this chapter, the highlight is discrimination on the basis of religion. Here, being associated with one religion or community does not give anyone the right to criticize the other individual. That is why our country has adopted secularism in its nature and in its constitution. Now, focusing more on the secularism, we change into our next slide. Secularism means basically refers to separation of religion from state. This means that our state here, the country India, is not going to endorse or preach about that which religion should be followed by the country's people. We all are free to follow and abide any religion we want to. Right? Now, coming on to the first bullet, that is, the Indian Constitution allows individual the freedom to live by their religious belief and practice. Second, India adopted a strategy of separating the power of religion and the power of the state. Basically, this means that you can practice any religious belief you wanted to. There is not going to be any interference of our country's government or our country's system in that. And second of all, our country's government and system do not endorse or preach about any particular religion. It is secular and very neutral in its nature. Coming on to the second slide. Why is it important to separate religion from state? First, for the proper functioning of democracy, look, it is very mandatory and it is a subject that has to be followed by any country which says that it is a liberal and a democratic country. For example, like our own India, that democracy is something which should not be bound by the shackles of religion. That is why it is important that religion should be separated from the state. Coming on to the second bullet, it prohibits the domination of one religion over the other. The example of domination of one religion over the another you can see in Sri Lanka. Right? In our country, we all know that Hindu community is a majority. But it's never been the case that our country's system wanted them to dominate over the other minority. Right? The example I was referring to earlier of Sri Lanka, where Sinhalese and Tamilians have the same problem, that in Sri Lanka, Sinhalese were in the majority and Tamilians were in the minority. Over there, they failed to establish a separation of religion from state. And as an outcome, there were rebels and terrorist people. Coming on to the third bullet, to protect the freedom of individuals to exit from their religion, embrace another religion, or have freedom to interrupt religion teachings differently. Here, this means not just secularism referred to following or abiding any religion. If one person wanted to get free from the religion which he or she was practicing earlier, exiting it and embracing or adopting the another one, so they are free to do that as well, right? So our country is giving full autonomy to embrace, to leave, to exit any religion they wanted to. And at the same time, our country tried to maintain, and it maintains the balance of separating religion from the state, so that no one community of any religion can dominate the whole system which may govern the country. For today, I hope discussing the two important part of the chapter are going to be enough. Now coming on to the